My name is Sanjay Rai, and I'm Dean of Science, Engineering, and Mathematics at Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland. Uh, National Science Foundation data shows that over 50% of the college graduates in science, engineering, and mathematics begin their education at a community college. How do you see the role of nation's community colleges in President's goal of getting the highest percent of college graduates by 2020?
These are great questions. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about that. I think community colleges are hugely important to where we need to go as a country, and they've been maybe the stepchild of the education world, or the sort of the forgotten resource. It's been announced publicly. She actually almost came to me today, but I'm bringing in as my number 3 a woman, Martha Cantor from California, who's a phenomenal community college president. There's never been someone at that level in education administration, and we did that for a very important reason, that I think community colleges have a huge role to play going forward in whether it's 18-year-olds going to school for the first time or 58-year-olds going back for retraining in tech jobs or healthcare jobs or whatever it might be, green jobs. Community colleges are a hugely important resource and a huge chance, if we're serious about dramatically improving the number of students who graduate from college, helping folks get retrained and retooled and get back in, community colleges are absolutely a strategic tool, and they're going to be a major part of where we want to go in the years ahead.
The Secretary's very able staff has told me he can take 2 more questions. So I think we had one right back here. I saw a hand. Yes.
When you're talking about AP community colleges, there's this gap between dual enrollment, early college, funding for those students for the tuition and things like that. Do you have any ideas on how you might fund programs for the students that actually have that college experience?
Yeah, that's hugely important. Actually, that's sort of the counter to the AP thing. And again, whether it's the going to AP or actually going on a college campus and taking a college class for credit, which again, if you're trying to challenge students' hearts, that's probably more important and more real for them. We have to be much more creative in how we fund that. So we want to incent that. I can tell we have a $5 billion, what we're calling Race to the Top fund. And all we want to do is invest in partnerships that work, that make a demonstrable difference in student achievement. And where you have creative universities, community colleges, high schools, school districts working together, we have a chance to put huge amounts of money into those efforts, and we look forward to doing that. There are lots of creative partnerships around the country. What I really want to do is scale up, invest in what works, and have those best practices spread nationally. So a huge chance to do more of that. Again, that's a big deal for me.
Our last question is from our John Toll Professor of Physics, Jim Gates.
Thank you. Thank you for the address, Secretary Duncan. In addition to being a theoretical physicist, have a fairly large interaction with teachers all across the country. And one of the things that I've heard repeatedly is about the No Child Left Behind Act, which is something that our country has implemented. We heard from Dr. Treisman's presentation that it's absolutely necessary that we have assessment tools that will let us know where we're making progress. On the other hand, when I speak to many teachers, they complain that they have no time to really invest in children, really, but instead are so busy trying to meet whatever the SOL standards are that they cannot invest in students in the way that they see fit as teachers, as people on the ground. So I'd like to hear something from you on what you think needs to perhaps be modified as we go on with standards of learning and things like No Child Left Behind.
Right, that's probably another hour conversation, so I'll try and quickly sum up. What I think No Child Left Behind got right was the idea of disaggregating data and looking at the achievement gap between white and African American Latino students. And I think far too many places that gap was swept under the rug, and I think forevermore now that gap's going to stare us in the face every day and motivate us to get dramatically better. So that part was right. What I worry about is 50 states all creating their own standards, their own assessments, and due to political pressure, that's really led to a dumbing down of standards. And in many states, including the state I'm from Illinois, those standards have been dumbed down so much that students who are quote-unquote meeting standards, I think we're lying to them. When a child hears they're meeting standards, I think they think they're on track to be successful, and we have lots of data showing that those students who are meeting standards are barely able to graduate from high school and are absolutely woefully, inadequately prepared to go to competitive university, let alone graduate. So I want to flip that. What was backwards, sort of interesting from a management standpoint, the No Child Left Behind law previously was very loose on the goal, and so you had 50 different goalposts all over the map, and very tight, very prescriptive about how you get there. I sort of think that's absolutely wrong from a management standpoint. I want to be tighter on the goal and really think about college-ready, career-ready, internationally benchmarked standards, definitely not federal standards, not national, but international standards, but then be much more looser and let teachers, let districts, let states create and be innovative of how they hit that higher bar. And you want to hold them accountable for that. But I think that there's this sort of a fundamental disconnect in what was held loose and what was tight. I want to try and reverse that. And I obviously lived on the other side of the law for 7.5 years, so I have lots of strong opinions. But part of what I'm going to do in the next couple of months is literally travel the country and go on a listening tour and listen to teachers and listen to principals and listen to students. And before we get serious about reauthorization, really try and get the pulse of the country. Take what wasn't a problem, keep that, but where there are significant challenges, let's address them openly and honestly. Thank you so much for the great question. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Really, it is really,